I've been silent for too long. Jungkook files police report after years of enduring in silence. The nation held its breath when Jungkook, fresh out of military service, beloved by millions, walked into a police station not as an idol, but as a victim. There were no flashing lights, no entourage, no camera crews trailing his steps. Just a young man, composed on the outside, but carrying the weight of years of fear behind his calm expression. Inside the interrogation room, he spoke words that startled even seasoned officers. This wasn't new. He had been terrified for a long time, and he had kept quiet until now. Deep trauma. Jungkook reveals his fear of sleeping alone since the Sasaeng broke in his official report. Jungkook disclosed that he could no longer fall asleep without leaving all the lights on. He would wake up at the smallest sound, haunted by the memory of an unfamiliar presence that had entered the sanctuary of his home. Police confirmed the case is being handled as a severe violation of celebrity privacy, with potential criminal charges beyond just trespassing. He came right after I returned from the military. Jungkook submits CCTV, voice memos, and emergency calls more shocking than the incident itself were the contents of the evidence Jungkook brought forward. Complete CCTV footage, voice recordings, and emergency hotline logs. Authorities were quick to point out that the perpetrator knew Jungkook's schedule. This was no random act of obsession. It was a calculated intrusion. He knew I'd be home, Jungkook reportedly said. That's what makes it worse. Jungkook undergoes 6-hour police questioning. Cameras capture him leaving with puffy eyes and pale-faced. Paparazzi and reporters were stationed outside the police station that night, waiting for a glimpse. And when Jungkook finally emerged after hours of questioning, what they saw wasn't the polished superstar they knew. He looked drained, eyes swollen, skin pale, as if he had aged overnight. A spokesperson confirmed the questioning was lengthy and emotionally taxing, a rare scene that reminded fans of the real human behind the global icon. HYBE representatives. Jungkook appears alone with private attorney to file the official complaint. One detail that caught public attention immediately: HYBE was nowhere to be seen. Jungkook arrived with only one private attorney, a decision that left fans both stunned and furious. Online, armies demanded to know, why was Jungkook left to deal with this alone? Was HYBE distancing itself from its golden star, or was Jungkook taking back control of his life? On his terms, Jungkook requests special protection. Police assigned 24-hour patrol near his residence in an unprecedented move. Jungkook filed for increased personal protection. Within 24 hours, local police deployed 2 patrol vehicles near his neighborhood, confirming the high-risk nature of the case. This marks the first time in Korean entertainment history that an idol has received such direct, continuous security measures from the state. I don't want any more idols to go through this. Jungkook calls for national reform of celebrity protection laws in a written statement released after filing his report. Jungkook didn't just demand justice, he demanded change. He called on the South Korean government to strengthen anti-stalking laws and enforce tougher penalties for obsessive fan behavior. This isn't just about me, he wrote. It's about every idol who fears the dark, who hides their address, who jumps when they hear footsteps behind them. Haunted by the Sasaeng shadow. Every nighttime sound makes me flinch. Psychological documents submitted to police include a chilling diagnosis, severe anxiety, PTSD-like symptoms, and disrupted sleep. Jungkook reportedly told his therapist that the fear is no longer just in his mind. It's become a living part of his environment. Even when I know I'm safe, I don't feel safe, he confessed. The psychological toll is now part of the prosecution's case, further elevating the seriousness of the charges. His only request to police: please keep my mother safe. Perhaps the most heart-wrenching detail in Jungkook's police report was not about himself. In a handwritten note attached to his complaint, he added one line that left even officers shaken. If I can be targeted, so can my mother. Authorities are now investigating whether the Sasaeng also surveilled Jungkook's family. One source close to the case admitted, he's more worried about his mom than himself. When Jungkook appeared in court, silent, cold, and refusing to look at the accused, the day of the court hearing was quiet, but electric. Jungkook arrived in a sharp black suit, his expression unreadable. He sat at the front, facing the judge, and gave his testimony with calm but unshakable clarity. When the Sasaeng, now charged and trembling, broke down in tears during the hearing, Jungkook didn't flinch. He didn't even glance in their direction. The message was clear. This wasn't a moment for pity. This was justice long overdue. The nation watches. The industry watches. And more than anyone, the idols who have suffered in silence now see a path forward, because one of their own, after years of living with fear, stood up not as a celebrity, but as a son, a survivor, and a signal that silence is no longer the price of fame. HYBE breaks silence, but fans are not convinced. Why now? After days of mounting pressure and criticism, HYBE finally issued a public statement acknowledging the Sasaeng intrusion and Jungkook's police report. While the agency expressed support for Jungkook's actions and condemned any breach of privacy, their words felt too late to many. Armies flooded social media with one question: where were you when he walked into the police station alone? The timing, the formality, and the lack of visible action from the label have sparked an even deeper rift between fans and the management once believed to be unshakably loyal. Armies form online legal support movement. We'll fund it ourselves if HYBE won't. What HYBE hesitated to do, armies took into their own hands. Across platforms, thousands of fans organized under a single purpose: to support Jungkook legally, emotionally, and publicly. Hashtags like #ProtectJungkook and #NoMoreSilence began trending worldwide. Several Korean legal professionals, some of whom are ARMY themselves, offered pro bono legal aid and consultation, vowing to see the case through if Jungkook or his family ever needed extra backing. "We're not just fans anymore," one ARMY wrote. "We're witnesses, and we won't let him fight this alone." The other BTS members speak out. A rare unified front. Then came a moment that stunned everyone: a joint message from the BTS members themselves, posted on Weverse. Without naming the case directly, each member wrote a heartfelt line that echoed one theme: "We stand with Jungkook." RM's post was especially poignant. Silence is often mistaken for peace, but today, silence must end. Jimin, who has known Jungkook like a brother, posted a photo of their trainee days with no caption, and it said everything. Public sentiment shifts nationally. Korean citizens demand stronger laws for idol protectionates, not just armies anymore. The general public, especially parents and working professionals, are starting to recognize the human cost of fame. Jungkook's story, shared without filters, cameras, or scripted press conferences, has sparked debate across talk shows, news panels, and online forums. Petition sites are crashing under the weight of signatures demanding amendments to Korea's anti-stalking laws. If someone like Jungkook, with all his fame and resources, can't feel safe at home, one TV anchor said, what about the rest of our young stars? The trial begins. Jungkook set to testify again. This time in front of the nation. The trial is now set to go public, and Jungkook is confirmed to take the stand once again. Cameras will be limited, but the courtroom will be open to media observers. Experts say this could be a watershed moment in Korean celebrity law, where a K-pop idol becomes the face of legislative change. And yet, behind the headlines, fans can't forget the quiet truth. This isn't a PR campaign. This is a man trying to protect his life. "I don't want to be brave, but I have to be." Jungkook's words become a rallying cry in a private message reportedly shared with a close friend and leaked to the press. Jungkook said, "I don't want to be brave. I just don't want this to happen to anyone else, especially my mom." That single line is now being printed on fan banners, protest posters, and even courtroom signs. It's more than a statement. It's a movement. And this time, Jungkook is not alone. The courtroom holds its breath as Jungkook faces the Sasaeng. June sunlight poured quietly through the courtroom windows, but inside, there was no warmth, only tension. When Jungkook entered, dressed in a clean, sharply tailored black suit, the entire room fell silent. Not because of who he was, but because of what he was about to do. For the first time in BTS history, a member was testifying not for a music award, not in front of fans, but before a legal tribunal as a victim. His voice did not tremble. His expression did not flinch. But when he recounted the night, he found out someone had broken into his home just hours after he embraced his mother post-military. The weight in his voice was undeniable. "I didn't even get to rest for one night." The words that crushed everyone in the room as he sat before the judge. Jungkook was asked the simplest of questions. "When did you first feel unsafe?" And his answer sent chills down everyone's spine. "I didn't even get to rest for one night after military discharge. That night, I locked my bedroom door for the first time in my life, and I still didn't sleep." The judge paused. The court stenographer's fingers froze for just a second. Even the journalists, trained to stay distant, wiped away tears. The defendant breaks down, but Jungkook doesn't blink when the Sasaeng was brought in, handcuffed, face masked but eyes visibly swollen from tears. Jungkook didn't turn. Even as the defense begged for leniency, claiming the act was born of obsession, not intent to harm, Jungkook remained cold, firm, unshaken. The contrast was startling. The once smiling golden magne, now grown into a man who no longer sees infatuation as flattering, but as a direct attack on his right to breathe. Public demand escalates. Parliament now considering Jungkook Law for idol privacy. What began as a fan-led petition is now something greater. The Korean National Assembly has received over 1.2 million verified signatures demanding the passing of a bill colloquially known as Jungkook Law. The bill proposes higher prison time for stalking public figures, digital surveillance without consent, and obsessive behavior categorized as mental harassment. Experts believe this may be the first legal ripple effect caused directly by a K-pop idol's personal trauma. If passed, it could rewrite how celebrity safety is handled not just in Korea, but worldwide. HYBE finally deploys elite private security, but is it too late? After relentless backlash, HYBE has finally announced a 24-hour security detail for Jungkook and his family, managed by an international firm that also handles global pop acts. But armies aren't celebrating. "It should have never gotten this far," one fan account tweeted. "He had to go to court alone. He had to plead for his mother's safety before they acted." We'll never forget that. Jungkook seen visiting hospital for psychological evaluation. Fans send waves of support just days after his testimony. Paparazzi captured Jungkook entering a Seoul medical center known for trauma and anxiety treatment. No staff.
No fanfare.
Just Jungkook, hoodie pulled low, headphones on. The next morning, fans began sending LED truck messages, therapy books, letters, and handwritten notes addressed only to JK, the human. One read, "You've given us strength for a decade. Let us carry you now." Jungkook's first Weverse post since testifying breaks the internet. Then came the post no one expected, but everyone needed. A simple black and white photo of his hand, resting gently on his mother's.
Captioned, "I'm okay."
She's okay, but we won't forget. Within seconds, the post had over 6 million reactions. Within minutes, global media picked it up. Within hours, his name was trending #1 in 74 countries. BTS members reunite in silence, but their message is loud following his court appearance. Jungkook reportedly spent a private evening at Jin's house with all the members. No photos, no live, just dinner, comfort, and words spoken away from cameras. But what fans noticed was this. The next day, each BTS member changed their profile picture to a plain black square.
No captions.
No comments. But the meaning was deafening. Unity, grief, defiance. Jungkook's pain becomes a catalyst for change. But the wound remains as of now. The case is still underway, but prosecution is reportedly demanding the maximum sentence. Mental health professionals have stepped forward offering long-term support, while schools, newspapers, and youth forums across Korea begin hosting seminars on celebrity human rights. Jungkook may not have intended to spark a movement, but that's exactly what happened. And yet, even as the world rallies, armies are asking a quieter question. Who comforts the boy when the cameras are gone? One final entry from Jungkook's personal note, leaked online, reads, "I used to think fans seeing me cry would make me look weak. Now I know, hiding pain only gives it more power. If telling my story makes one other idol safer, I'll tell it every time." And maybe that's what makes this moment more than tragic. Maybe that's what makes it unforgettable. Because this isn't just Jungkook's story anymore, it's all of ours.